So ladies, welcome and thank you for being here. I think I put my phone on silence. I did. And I didn't put that one over there. So if it rings, excuse me, because we use that phone for the landline for people that we don't want to be bothered with, all of these telemarketers who call like crazy. But welcome and thank you for coming here. This is something that's in embryo and new for me. And I just started and I'm building and growing it in every way that I can. And I'm grateful for each of you who showed up here today, because the whole intention is that you are able to meet and connect with others that maybe you don't know. And also for me to align you with phenomenal, fantastic groups that I belong to so that you can become a contributing member. Because I, like you, only align with top of the line, high caliber people who are in leadership and who are in the process of becoming, and those who want to be of service to others. And I know that Lisa, Nora, Wanda, Joyce, I know that you're all about that and more so. So this woman today, her name is Dorris Burch. She's on her way, she said, whatever that means. I hope she has a link and she can get here. All kinds of things happen with technology, and I understand it more than most people because I don't, but yet I want to, because the hunger is there. My work is as a style and leadership coach, a speaker, executive producer, TV host, and podcaster. In conjunction with that, I work as an executive producer, TV host, and podcaster. I am always seeking and scouting for guests, featured guest speakers to come and to speak and to share their story and their journey and what they do and how they do it to serve and benefit others, because we're all here to do that. And one of my main enjoyments and the pleasure that I get is introducing you out into the stratosphere, because what happens is that you get the video, you get the audio, I get you 5 beautiful posters. You will be ultimately in time on the major 5 platforms for podcasting. And that would be Apple TV, Roku, Amazon Fire, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. And we now, with the agency that I'm with, we have what's called internet radio, and it's in beta. And I'm going to put the link up here later for those of you who really want to take your voice and send it out into the stratosphere, because your voice is part of your style and it's part of your delivery. So I want you to be aware of that. And in conjunction, I secure a marginal fee. A lot of people do freebies. I've done the freebie. I'm through with the freebies. I look for people who want to invest in themselves and know the power of marketing. If not now, at some point in time, because when it becomes evergreen, never know who and when someone is going to come to you. So in that, Doris is late, and if she's going to show, she said she was on her way. I don't know what happened. I don't make excuses for people, and I don't do excuses. So I'm going to reverse my pattern and form of operation. And what I'm going to do, Joyce, I'm so glad that you asked that question. I'm going to put each of you as a speaker in the spotlight and have you introduce yourself and tell us what you do and how you serve others. Tell us where you're about, and you might take a little bit more than 3 minutes. And whatever you do, my ladies, follow each other, connect with each other. You never know which seed is going to blossom and something that's going to be a win-win for both of you. So that said, Lisa, and that you're new, I'm going to start with you, and I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself, share with us your work, what you do, and what brought you here today. And thank you. The stage is yours. I hope you're here and you can tune in now. All righty. She's here. That's so funny. All right, remove the pen. All right, let's see the fabulous. I love this. This is crazy. Let me get the pen here and make sure I can find her to put her here. All right, Doris, you're here. You made it. All right. I was making every excuse to get you ready and to bring you here. Just hold on 1 second. I didn't really do a proper introduction. I was going to do the reverse of what I usually do. But in that you're here and you're pulling yourself together and getting yourself together, it's all good. Hold tight for just a minute and let me read to them a little bit about what you do and how you do it. And then I'm going to be back with you in just a second. So hold tight and do your refreshing and whatever you do. We have the lay of the land and then we can go from there. I love this stuff. All right, ladies. Thank you for your patience. And Doris, thank you for arriving. I know life happens. And I say I don't make excuses for anybody and even myself, but I understand this thing called life. And if you can't segue and swing with the changes and impromptu things that happen, then you don't need to be in any type of business. Our featured guest speaker tonight is Dorris Burch. And here is a little bit of what she says about herself. She says, I'm a Midwest girl, and at heart, I have loved fashion for as long as I can remember. I think she probably came out of the womb as I did, loving fashion. But she says it's in her DNA. And she say, your personal style, which is my belief as well, embodies the person that you are. And your assignment, these are my words, is to find out exactly what your style is. And it isn't just putting on clothes. She has a tagline here that I love, and I'm sure she's going to mention it to you, but it's about don't be invisible, be fabulous. And she labels herself as a fabulous Dorris Burch, and she is. I've only known her for a short time through this fabulous networking group that I belong to, the Polka Dot Powerhouse Women. And I met her through this group, and I've seen her here, there, and about, and I love her boldness and her courage, and you will as well. So what I'm going to ask you to do now is help me to welcome Doris here to the stage. Let me see if I can get the right pen here and replace the pen. There you are. Doris, the stage is yours, and thank you for coming. The fabulous Doris Burch is with us. We're going to have the ladies, Doris, after you speak, introduce themselves so that we can all do a connection. And welcome, I'm glad you arrived. The stage is yours.
Oh my gosh. Thank you, Joy. And you talk about life happening. I'm like, the link wasn't connecting. And then I was like, what's the link? And then I'm like, let me try again and let me just be calm and just pray. And got in. So thank you so much for your graciousness. Yes, ladies, leading ladies. I am the fabulous Doris Burch. It's true. It's just like Joy said. I did come out my mom's womb already connected to fashion. I have loved it from the moment I got it honest. My mom was a fashion diva um as well. So it came through me. And so I've always loved it. I majored in fashion merchandising. That was my thing. That is my thing. And had a great career earlier in my 20s, modeled. And then in my 30s, I started to just get frustrated and wanted to deviate from being in the field working in fashion. And so even though I've always in my corporate career always worked in some kind of retail industry, however, I went from apparel to building materials to telecommunications. And so once I stepped out of telecommunications working there, I had went into human resources and then was in retail merchandising for that company where we built the stores and did the internal merchandising of those stores. After my son was born, I really got to the realization, well, I had a download that had happened 8 years before I finally said, you know what, I should pursue this. But in 94, I had the voice of God in my soul said to me, because I was praying and asking and journaling, that there had to be something more. Like this thing I was doing, as great as it was, which I call that status quo life, where you get tricked into this corporate career that you've asked for. And it comes with a lot of things, but you really do have to have a mask on, and you really aren't able to really be in your total truth because you're playing the game, you're playing the corporate game. And I just couldn't see myself continuing on that track till the end of whatever. And so I was just really asking for another way. And I heard the voice of God in my spirit tell me that I would be on a platform empowering women to be the highest version of who they've been created to be. And that really resonated with me. However, I didn't understand completely how I was going to do that. I didn't believe I had a voice. One of the things that I discovered over my journey in this entrepreneurial journey is that when you have grown up dancing, I did tap, jazz, ballet, and baton, then modeling, is that platform prepared me to be extremely confident in the sense of I can walk in any room, I can be around any people, and I can be seen. But what I discovered when I set on this entrepreneurial path was that I didn't really have a voice. Like my voice in those mediums of dancing and modeling, you don't use your voice. It's all nonverbal communication. And so I got that down. But actually, when I had to use this voice of mine, that became a huge issue that I did not know I had. until I had to discover that, oh my gosh, I have to use this voice. And meaning, so I stepped into direct sales after my corporate career. And even though I've been did presentations in business school and in my career, being in direct sales and with the company I was with, which was Mary Kay Cosmetics, which was the great awakening that I know I needed to have for me to step into the truth of who I was being called to be. But to have women sit around a table and you have to speak, and you speak differently than when you're in this corporate thing, and you're really speaking as you, the woman that you are. And if you have not been in you, the woman that you are, you discover along the way that you need to finally get in touch to the awakening of your personal truth in order for you to be able to take this journey that you stepped into that does not fit any check marks of the boxes that you have been accustomed to having the boxes checked. Like everything with my corporate career, college, all that journey was checking off a box. When I stepped into direct sales, there were no boxes to check off. In fact, my family thought I was absolutely crazy because they couldn't believe how educated I was that I would be doing Mary Kay. Like, oh my gosh, even though Mary Kay Ash, it was a real woman and she had created this empire, yet my family was like, oh, it's not real. And I was just like, there are people who work in the corporate office who depend on the sales force to sell this product, so it's got to be real. And so I was determined to get the monkey off my back, the corporate monkey off my back, and really step into this freedom that was waiting for me. And that was my big awakening that I got. And I realized when I got that download that I was here to empower women to be the highest version of who they've been created to be. What I discovered was women needed to awaken to their truth of who they are. The truth of who they are. Lisa's a senior sales director. Okay, yeah, the pink bubble will teach you a lot about yourself if you let it teach you things you need to discover. And for me, I really needed to understand that I had been wearing a mask during my whole corporate journey, and that my confidence, even though I had confidence in myself, my confidence really had over my corporate career had evolved around me having this title, me having this business card, and me working for this company. And that was my identity. And then now I come into direct sales and my identity has to be me amongst a pile of other women who do the same thing. So what's going to differentiate me from the other women who are also selling this product? Because there were thousands, tens of thousands, of women who were Mary Kay, independent Mary Kay beauty consultants. What was going to be the edge? And when I discovered the awakening piece was going to be within myself, that I was going to be the different piece. Like women were going to buy the product from me. They could get the Mary Kay product from anybody, but they were going to have to be buying that product from me. And I'm so grateful for that journey in Mary Kay, because it taught me everything I needed to know to be a woman entrepreneur. Because when I shifted gears, I had my Mary Kay business for about 6.5 years. And then I heard that voice again within my spirit telling me there was another shift to me to be going on. And I was just like, what on are you talking about? It took me a hot minute to figure out this thing and get comfortable doing this thing and building, clients and team and all that stuff. But I always, I knew there probably had to be something more coming, because in my Mary Kay career at the time, there was a spot like I just couldn't hit, like it wasn't hitting. And now, being able to look back, I understand exactly why I couldn't hit that spot, because I was never intended to. I was intended to just be in there to get this awakening to the truth of owning my truth, and what we now call, our movement and our message around women to don't be invisible, be fabulous. And when I say don't be invisible, initially it's about women to get in front of themselves, because what I learned, and Lisa will attest to this, because in Mary Kay, one of the biggest things you do in a skincare class is have women sit in front of a mirror. And that was a huge eye opener for me, because I did not realize highly intelligent, beautiful women can sit around a table, look in a mirror, and literally not like the woman they see. They would say so many things about themselves that they did not like. Just like, oh my gosh, this is so intriguing. And what I realized on the journey was that women are so used to being invisible to themselves, and you can't do anything. You can't be in your purpose. You can't pursue your dreams if you are invisible to the truth of who you are, who you've been created to be, and give yourself that unapologetic permission to just be fully you, whatever that looks like, and knowing you can change the course along the way. And that was where I was supposed to go. I was being led to be something bigger, because the message that I received was like, you've got everything you need. Now we need to not have a product stand in the way of you reaching the women you need to reach. So it was like, as much as I love the Mary Kay experience, it was just a moment for me to step into something bigger that was being called for me to do something greater, because I needed to get the foundation, one, come back to myself, to really be fully in my own confidence, to not be invisible to myself, to remove every mask I had that I developed unconsciously and maybe consciously having a corporate career, give myself permission to be fully me and be on that journey of constantly re-evolving, expanding, that truth. What does that really look like? When Doris is being fully Doris, what does that look like? Well, what it looks like is Doris became the fabulous Doris Burch. She became the fabulous Doris Burch because when I had to think about how was I going to expand what I was stepping into. And where I was led was to create a transformational coaching company. And we grew, for the first 3 years, and really getting comfortable being in that space and understanding what that was going to look like. And when I realized that one of the things I need to really step into and give myself permission to do was to have a brand. Like my coaching needed to have a brand and a message. And so I look back over my journey, and I look back when I was younger and thought the feeling I wanted to have and wanted women to experience. And so I don't know about any of you, and Joy will probably remember back in the day, not current day, back in the day, Vogue magazine was next level. Like this Vogue magazine we experienced at this journey, it is not nearly as fabulous as it used to be. It used to be like you just touch it and you could feel the vibration of the cover, and it just, oh my God, just gave you that feeling, and I just felt fabulous. So I was like, I always made this declaration about myself, is that like in high school I went to Catholic school, so I had to wear uniforms. And so when we got out of uniform, you could wear your own personal clothes. Well, I've always made this declaration that I just can't wear the same thing over again in a long time. Like I had to spread it out. I just didn't want to be that girl. And so I just wouldn't be like, I just was like, I'm just gonna walk off the cover of Vogue magazine when I leave the house. I'm like, I'm gonna feel like a Vogue magazine. And that's exactly what I did. And so when I was creating my coaching business, when we got to the part of having a brand, I was like, okay, fabulous, fabulous. Oh, I'm gonna be the fabulous Doris Burch. Now, you've got to know what kind of unapologetic permission you have to give yourself to define yourself. And I mean, everybody in this day, I do not support people not owning my persona as the fabulous Burch. Like if I join a group, and especially if I'm in a group, that has some men in it who do not want to honor the fabulous before my name, I'm like, no, I'm the fabulous Doris Burch. I'm the fabulous Doris Burch. It all goes together. You cannot just call me Doris Burch, not professionally. In my personal life, you can, but not professionally. Professionally, I'm the fabulous Doris Burch because Fabulous is the euphoric feeling that only owning your power and living it can bring. Fabulous is everything you want it to be, do, and have. And so that's why I'm the fabulous Doris Burch, because I own and live in my power. And I understand being fabulous is a state of mind. It's its own universe. And it allows you to be, do, and have. And so I have to always give my own self permission to be, do, and have, so I can have other women step into who they're here to be, do, and have, and to live in and own their own personal power, because it's a game changer. And so we just up the game. So women can think fabulous. Some people think that is egotistical or just whatever. I don't really care. But since I know I have a bigger meaning for women being fabulous, that it really changes the game for all women. So women can look at me and think, oh my gosh, I can't be fabulous. Or they look at Joy, oh my gosh, I can't be fabulous. But yes, you can, because fabulous is owning and living in your power. It's that euphoric feeling, like when you really get to yourself and understand, and it says it in scripture, that feelings are the game changers. Like when, I hate to go back here, but, the Bible says that everything was spoken into existence. And so there has to be a feeling to speak something into existence. So we all have that power. And so when you tap into the forwardness of your feelings, of only owning, living in your power, oh my gosh, how do you show up? How do you come into a room? How do you do your business? You give yourself so much unapologetic permission. You don't care what people say. You don't care if people talk about you or whatever, because that does not matter. You are here to be the woman that is going to say, you know what? I got this one life. I get to be, do, and have what I want to be, do, and have in this one life, because I'm going to be in my power. I'm going to live in it. I'm going to own it. I'm just going to walk in it. I'm going to show up in it. I'm going to shine. I'm going to expand every day. Every day I'm going to just be that version of myself, and I'm going to up level. When it's time to up level, I'm going to say, you know what? It's time to up level. Period. I'm up level. What's the next level version of your fabulous self look like? And that is where I really want women to understand. So when I say don't be invisible to you first and foremost. Secondly, don't be invisible to you as a businesswoman, an entrepreneur making money. Women have got to stop being invisible to the dollars. You want money in your business, you can't be invisible to it at all. You have to stand and be in yourself, and you have to give yourself unapologetic permission to decide how much money you want to be making. I will use this one woman as an analogy because she's so powerful. In Mary Kay, she retired recently, but she still is number one. She's going to be the number one to the next person, to maybe number two rises up. And I don't know if number two has it within her, but somebody eventually be number one in Mary Kay Cosmetics. But Gloria Mayfield Banks is number one in Mary Kay, period, worldwide. And I heard, I think her retirement income is like over 100,000 a month. So that's $1 million just in one of her income streams. But I was like, I look at her now in her quote unquote retirement as a Mary Kay emeritus, and she's riled up her next business. She's still in the game. She looks absolutely incredible. She's 65. If you look at her, you won't know she's 65. Her husband's 70. Oh my God, he does not look it at all. He's so fit. And they work out and they stay in that frame. And I think, wow, the message that she sends to other women to remind yourself, you can always stay in the game. You can always decide to don't be invisible. First to yourself, second to your money, and I'll say third to your health and your well-being and your fitness and nutrition and what you're putting in your bodies, because that matters. A lot of times to do anything that we need to do, especially as we age fabulously, is that you need to be healthy. Your well-being needs to be intact. You need to you need to care about what you're putting in your mouth. You need to do exercise in the way you need to do exercise. I don't believe in crazy strenuous exercise, but you do need to do something that keeps your body going, keeps your mind going, so that you can constantly stay in the game. You know, I don't really think there is no such thing as retirement. I think you should always be doing something. I just looked up last night because I wanted to remember. I don't pronounce her last name well. She had a middle name, but Tao, Tao Lynch, and she had her name. Lynch was her married name. I wanted to see if she was still living because I came across her when she was 98 years old. And that was in 2017 over Facebook. And she was then the world's oldest yoga teacher. And she was still driving, still teaching yoga, 98, still driving, still teaching yoga. She had took up ballroom dancing at age 85. She died in 2020 at 101 years old. And I was like, oh my gosh, what she planted in me was that it doesn't matter if you're 98, 99, 100, she never considered herself old. And I was like, somebody asked her if she was going to retire, and that was not in her vocabulary. Like, what does that mean? She's like, I'll dance until into the next planet, you know. So she just did not get old. And I was like, we have to also, I think, in Don't Be Invisible, especially as I say, aging fabulously, is that, you know, we're going to get older. That does not have to be. Joy is a testament that does not have to be a thing. She looks incredible too. And I was like, you don't have to be old, you know. So invisibility, because it's one thing I noticed is that a lot of women get older and they become invisible as well. So that's a whole nother ball game, you know. So I just want to sum this up in saying you can be whoever it is you decide to be, but what you decide to be, your version self, must be fully you. You must be fully you. And if you haven't decided who that is, I would say find out who she is and allow her to come forward, and just keep giving her permission to be her every day. So you can say and declare out to the world that I've declared to don't be invisible, be fabulous.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Doris, did you bring it to us? Yes, you did. Let's all put a virtual handshake and a heart up there for Doris. Doris, you arrived a wee bit late, but you brought all of your goodies and your wisdom, and I am grateful for it. I think now, if there are any questions for you before I have these fabulous women introduce themselves and share with you what they're about. And one of the things that I ask each and every one before you arrive, Doris, and thank you so much. I loved everything that you share with us because you're so on point. And all of the things that you talked about, if we have time, I want to piggyback and dovetail on it because it's powerful. It's our time as women, and you just brought the awareness and the awakening of knowing that. Some of us do, some of us are in the process. It's okay as long as we stay united. But that said, let us now ask if there are any questions, and then I want each and every person to introduce themselves. And please follow each other, connect with each other, and we'll go from there. Anyone have any questions at all for the fabulous Dorris Burch? The stage is yours. Just let me know and I'll put
I want to know, Doris, I'm from the Midwest.
Yes.
From Wisconsin, of Dairy Farm, originally up closer to Green Bay than I lived in Madison almost 30 years, Madison, Wisconsin. Where did you grow up?
I'm originally from Kansas City, Missouri. And so I'm a Midwest girl too, and probably don't live too far from you. I'm now currently in the Chicago area. So I know Madison isn't far.
Right, because I'm in Denver now, but what part of the Chicago area? Where are you?
In Tinley Park, Illinois. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
I've lived out here since 95.
Differ in October with Polka Dot at Celebration for Denver. Yeah.
Neat.
Yeah.
Anybody else have any questions at all for Doris? I know you have. She gave us so many platinum nuggets. And one of the things that you mentioned, because Doris, you know, and everyone here pretty much, that I'm attempting to work with women who are second act, second chapter, midlife, and that is regardless of age, because you can be in your 30s and be there. But those women who, for whatever their reasons are, and we all have our reasons, that they consider themselves invisible, they're invaluable, they're insignificant. Well, that's not so, especially when you speak to what you did to us tonight, owning your personal power. And power is a very big word with me because we all have it. And now it's time to come together and collaborate and express that power in the feminine way, not the masculine way. There's a vast difference. Any other questions,
Absolutely.
ladies? If not, I'm going to have you introduce yourself. But if you have any questions, now is the time for the fabulous Dorris Burch. Lisa, no questions? Nora? Nora, I know you're in the fashion is, once you're in, you're never out.
I know.
Business. Do you have any questions for Doris, the fabulous Dorris Burch?
I mean, our lives were so similar. I was almost like, I could be sitting there saying the same thing that she's saying, because yes, I went to school, I was with corporate, I did presentation and speeches and everything that everybody else wanted me to do. And all of a sudden, now I'm out here in the world and saying, you know, what happened to my voice? Who am I? Trying to find my identity again. And I'm Mary Kay, I've been there, done that too. And I just ran into some of the same things, and trying to break into the entrepreneurial business and even other things that I'm doing. Where's my voice? Do I still have the same confidence that I used to have when I modeled? And I love what you said about modeling. It is nonverbal, 100%. People respond to you as you're coming out, even if you're not modeling, because we have our own style and we show up a certain way. Right. And people still, if I dress a certain way, I know people are admiring or looking at and saying, wow, you know, she's really put together. But there's no verbal communication. So I enjoyed
that was brilliant. That was brilliant, Nora. And I like the way you dovetailed and was connected to much of what the fabulous Dorris Burch shared with us, because you're also on point. How you show up even today in the casual mode, it matters. It matters deeply, and especially for women. Nothing wrong with casual, but your presence, your persona should speak before you even say a word. And there's no reason to feel invisible, invaluable, and insignificant. Whatever your style is, it should speak, and people should say, boy, she really looks great. She knows how to pull herself together. And just like Doris knows how to do her style is her style, it's a little edgy, it's a little this, that's her. Your style is your style. Find who you are. I love what she said about wearing the mask. So many of us wear the mask for a long time. That corporate monkey on the back she mentioned, I think we've all been there, more or less. Now, no matter what generation you're in, it's time for women to really step into the strongest sense of their femininity, sexuality, and sensuality align, and stand in your power as a female, not as a male. There's a big difference. That's when real equality will come about. Now, that's enough of my preaching. Thank you for that, Nora. I love that you're connecting with the fabulous Dorris Burch. Now, I think, ladies, because I'm very cognizant of time, I want each of you to introduce yourself, and you have free reign here. Let Doris know where you're from, what you do, how you serve others, how you benefit others. You can put anything in the chat box, save the chat, tell us where you live, share with us whatever you want us to remember, because we want to be memorable, unforgettable. We want that as part of our presence. So state that, the stage is yours, and I'm going to start with you, Joyce.
Okay, cool. I was actually, hang on. Oh, I was thinking I was still muted. All right, what I'm working on right here is pulling up my information and the event I want to invite you all to. So here we go. Well, my name's Joyce Foistel. My company is Boomer's Social Media Tutor. And what I do is I help people actually have social media simple, easy, and fun. That's my tagline. So that may be strange, especially with LinkedIn, to think it could be fun. Yet I think all the social media sites have an element of fun if you are fun. And when you were talking, Joy, I was thinking, when people come into a room with me, they feel my energy. And I've had a person just recently who introduced me, and she wrote me afterwards, after I spoke at this event. She said, your talk was not only engaging, it was informative and fun. So those three things, actually, she said them, informative, engaging, and fun. I think they're relate. And I do want to stress Toastmasters. And I know Joy has been part of that for quite some time, because that, if you haven't been there, please go, or recommend it to people. So what I do with my business, and I'm, by the way, in a suburb of Denver, Colorado, I've lived here since 1995, is I help people, particularly people 55 and older, to really rock their LinkedIn. The folks I help are business people, for the most part, generating their income in some shape, form, or another. That's about 75% of my clientele, and the other 25% are job seekers. And I also do a lot of pro bono speaking all over the country, actually, to job seeker groups, to Polka Dot Powerhouse chapter right here in the Denver area in January of last year, I think it was. And so that's been very rewarding. It's my Toastmasters in action, and I'm energized by a group, whether it's online or in person. So those are things I want to say. So I really help people. So I think LinkedIn, and especially, and all social media, is part of our brand, going back to what you said, fabulous Doris Burch, in terms of who are we. So that's what I think of, and trying to think of anything else. So people, when you have a good looking LinkedIn, you feel like you just got a new dress. I think you're like, wow, look at my headline, look at my about. I just feel like $1 million. So that's what I do. And it's so rewarding at 73 years old, young, maybe even is a better way to say it. I am so excited to be of service in this way to others.
I absolutely love that. And let me say to those of you who are here and want to know more about LinkedIn, there's no better person to align yourself with than the Joyce Foster, because she really knows her stuff. And when she says simple, easy, and fun, that's how she makes it, because I'm not a techie, and it was really enjoyable. And let me say also, Joyce, that you added a word in there, which is part of power. And I'm going to add another, is energy. People speak to your energy. Your energy and your spirit speaks to the essence of who you are and how you show up. So that was a good alignment with what that's all about. Nora, the stage is yours. Share with us what you do and how you serve others. And let us begin with that. You are on mute.
Okay, I'm on. I'm open now.
Okay, good.
I do a lot of things. I think I do a lot of things. That's why I don't know what I do.
Okay.
I need to define. I'm looking for my own personal definition of what I want to do. Some of the things that I'm interested in fashion, I'm interested in lifestyle. So those are my interests. And I would like to start maybe my own blog or something like that, so that I can do the things that I like and the things that I'm interested. I've worked for over 40 years in corporate America. I'm retired now, and that's where I am. I'm trying to discover myself again.
Well, discovery is fun, and I like you for sharing that with us, because none of us come here with the Holy Grail. We're all in search of it, and yet your courage and being courageous enough to say that you're still seeking is admirable, and I commend you for it, and I applaud you for each and every time you show up. You always express where you are and what you're about, and you never know who's going to be able. We're not psychologists here, I don't think, any of us. But maybe Wanda here, who I'm going to bring up next, can support you, because she's in the corporate world, but she's also in the world of supporting people to find their purpose and their calling and their mission. And the question that I leave you with, Nora, is what is it that fills you up the most? What gets you the most? Just, you don't have to answer, but just think about, what is it that you just do without even thinking about it, that you could turn into some type of business that would be able to support you? That's what you'd be thinking about. And that's it. Do you have any questions for the fabulous Doris Burch? Or, because I love your honesty, and I like how I like loyalty. I'm one who's all about loyalty, because that speaks to the honor, the character, and the principle of the person. And I know we're all active. We're all on overload. When I see people show up, like Joyce said, she makes sure she puts it on her calendar. I celebrate and applaud that. I commend people for that. And these are the people that I will not lose. I keep them near and dear to me, because I'm about building, another power word, building a community of powerful women who collaborate and support each other. So be thinking about what that is. And if there's anything else you want to share with us before I go to Wanda, the stage is yours. Anything else, Nora? That's it. Okay, she put herself back on mute. Okay.
Yeah, and can you
Wanda,
put,
thank you. Yes.
Nora, can you put any contact information, even just an
Yes.
email into the chat? So then maybe we could follow up. We could follow up with each other. Okay.
Thank you, Joyce. I thought I'd mentioned that everybody do that, but I'm glad you mentioned it again. Make sure you put all of your information and save the chat, and so that everybody can connect with you. Put your name, your phone number, your email, and anything else that you want, any events and so on. And then what you're going to do is save the chat so that you can connect when the time is right for you, because we're all active. We all get that. But the point is that you make your connection and stay connected with people. You never know when it's going to be the person that's important and powerful and a win-win for both. Thank you for that, Joyce. Wanda, thank you for being here. The stage is yours. I love your picture. I can look at that with that smile all day long. Please introduce yourself and share with us what you're about and how you serve others.
Absolutely. Well, good evening, ladies. It's a pleasure to join you this evening. This is my first time jumping in, so I apologize that I wasn't in an appearance ready to show on the camera, but I loved the conversation. The fabulous Dorris Burch, you are the bomb. And I was able to relate. Your life sounds like so much of my life and the experiences that I have encountered. And thank you for sharing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But I'm Wanda Ferguson. I'm CEO of Ferguson Consulting Group. And we provide elite level coaching. And our mission is simple. And that's to disrupt America's ideology on the acquisition of success that causes a paradigm shift in the mind and create a healthy dissatisfaction with the status quo. And why? Because everyone deserves an opportunity to discover how to live a more success-filled life and gain access to information that I didn't know that I did not know, and have exposure to success principles that governs the law of success that most people were not taught or was privileged to and growing up. So our goal achieving elite level coaching program is designed to help you discover provide a newfound clarity on what you truly want to become, do, and have. So that goes back to what the fabulous Doris Burch talked about.
Mm-hmm.
You can be, do, and have whatever you want. You can create your own economy, and you can transform any goal, dream, or desire that you may have into reality while improving your self-image to make quantum leaps, increase your income earning potential, and then master the art of goal creation to discover what do you really want to do. Tell us what you want and we'll show you how to get it. And thank you for this opportunity, Joy.
Oh, thank you. And let me say, I'm very karmic. I don't believe that there are accidents in life. I believe that everything is in divine order, no matter what your religious or faith might be. I don't think that any of you women arrived here tonight just by accident or just because you love and adore me, and the feeling is mutual. Because we come to receive what we need and to take away what we need and to give what we have to share. So the fabulous Dorris Burch, I'm glad that you're here, Wanda. However you two connect, however there might be an alignment, you never, ever know. I just have an intuitive feeling, which I ride on now into the sunset. I know that somehow there's an alignment and you two can support each other. So thank you for that. And let me just say this, I'm playing around with these dials and pens because I never know which one to push, but everyone has spoken. And I think that it's really good that you all save the chat and in your time, find a way to connect with each other, because that's what it's all about. And Doris, before we close the room down or anything at all that you want to leave us with, any words of wisdom? Do you have a call to action? Did you put your website information, your email and your phone number and everything in the chat so people can connect with you?
Oh yeah, I will put the rest in there. My only call to action really for the biggest support is that I've stepped into being a fashion influencer, content creator, and the huge part of that is your engagement and followers. I hate to say followers, I just Instagram friends, and
Yes,
followers seems like a cult.
yes, I understand.
Friends, is really that. So that's my call to action is if you're on Instagram, definitely friend me, because that will support me in getting the numbers I need to have so I can eventually, start working with brands and monetizing this endeavor that I'm on. But I will put my website in there, and my number, I will put that as well, because you can follow my style blog as well. But my final words really are just, my whole message is really my message is for women to don't be invisible, be fabulous, and really just give yourself permission.
Doris,
I do have
I so
two things.
celebrate you. Joyce, just one second. I so celebrate you for how you're ending for us, because my alignment with you is karmic and given, because I know with certainty and conviction, and the confidence comes only when you really begin, because there's so much pseudo and fake, false bravado confidence out here. But when it's authentic and it's genuine and it's real, then you have found your power. It's connected to the soul and the heart of you, and your energy and spirit is just there. So I love your fabulous, invisible, don't be invisible, be fabulous. I love that tagline. I wish I had gotten it before you, but you got it. That said, thank you, thank you, thank you. Joyce, you had some parting words?
Yeah, two things. I was just curious where Nora and Wanda are based. And the second thing is I'm considering getting going on TikTok, the fabulous Dorris Burch. So I see you do that. And well, can we have a Zoom visit sometime and you can tell me about TikTok? Would you do that for me?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fine. Because I don't want to, take any more of the group's time. But Nora, where are you from?
I'm in Southern California in a city called Fontana, San Bernardino County.
Okay. Thank
And
you.
Wanda, where are you?
Yes, hi. I'm in Salisbury, Maryland, down on the Eastern Shore near Ocean City.
All righty.
Okay.
So Joyce, I love your style. I love your energy. When you are ready, you will get all that information. You will connect as everyone else will with each other. And then we go from there. Ladies, it's time to wrap this up. I really don't want this to go. I want it to go 45, 50 minutes, but we always go over, but it's okay. I just don't want to be over an hour. I'm honored that you showed up here today, because I'm all about collaboration and women sharing and connecting with each other. We can't do everything and be everywhere all the time, but the people that you really align with and you feel some connection, even if it's minute and tiny, stick with them, stay with them, be loyal to them, because you never ever know when you might call on them, or vice versa, when it's very profitable for you. And it profitable doesn't always have to be in dollars. We're business women, but it can be in many other ways that leads to dollars. So that said, the fabulous Dorris Burch, you are.
Thank
your
you.
tag fits you.
Love you.
I
Thank you, Joy. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, my pleasure,
Thank
my
you.
pleasure. And
Take
ladies,
care.
because you're here, you will, as Doris, will get the video, and then you'll be able to dice and slice it up and do whatever you want to. It becomes yours, and it'll be out to you. I can't say when, because I have to send it out, but no later than the beginning of next week. That's my prayer. Thank you, thank you, thank you, ladies. I'm closing out now. Bye.
Have a great
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you, thank you, thank you for coming. All the best. Love you much. Bye.
Bye.